Be prepared at weather.com. From our computers to yours. In this half hour, WeatherScope, a comprehensive national forecast. WeatherScope.
Overnight, the snow's been piling up in the Appalachians. The snow plows hit the streets. A storm system blankets much of the eastern U.S. with heavy rain and wind on the coast, and it's all moving into the northeast. Good morning and welcome to WeatherScope, everyone. I'm Bruce Edwards. Now, snow is showing up as far south as parts of Alabama and North Georgia. The system will eventually reach into New York, New Jersey, and Boston. Now, we have crews stationed on both sides of the storm, with the snow in the mountains and along the coast with the wind and rain. For the latest on the storm system, let's go to Cheryl Lemke in our forecast center. Cheryl?
Thanks, Bruce, and good morning. Well, it's the second big storm system to affect the east in 2 weeks. And this storm system continues to cause locally heavy flooding rain and some very heavy snowfall, too. Our latest satellite picture shows you just how immense this storm system is. It continues to pull in moisture from off the Atlantic, and that is setting the stage for the heavy amounts of precipitation. Right now, very heavy rain coming down around the Atlanta metro area. Rain continues to spread up the coast, but further inland, we've had reports of very heavy snowfall across parts of the Appalachians, and travel is not being recommended. Well, to cover both aspects of this storm system, we have 2 Weather Channel crews out, one covering the heavy rain and the strong winds at Virginia Beach, Virginia. That's where Mike Seidel is. But then we also have Bill Keneally in Beckley, West Virginia. First of all, though, we go to Mike Seidel in Virginia Beach. Good morning, Mike. What's the latest?
And Cheryl, this morning we're getting battered by high winds and heavy rain. Got to use my hand to keep the old earpiece in my ear and hold on to my hat this morning. We've got coastal flood warnings up, no surprise. Also, beach erosion will be a big problem. High tide coming up at 1:45 this afternoon here on the ocean front. And that water is likely going to come up and at least encroach the boardwalk here, which also serves as a barrier. It's a concrete structure. Check out the Weather Channel mass cam this morning, and you can see the Virginia Beach fishing pier. And over the years, pieces of this will get clipped off at the end due to the rough surf conditions. And boy, we have them today and tomorrow. Panning off to the southeast and south, the boardwalk, a very lonely place this morning, unlike yesterday where we had several folks out here walking their dogs and getting in that morning jog, but not this morning. Also, interior areas, watch out for heavy, heavy rainfall along with the rough surf. This rainfall on top of saturated ground will lead to localized flooding, ponding on the roadways, and again, just a real mess here. And unlike last week's storm, Cheryl, this one's going to stick around through tomorrow. In fact, not until tomorrow night and Friday morning will the winds die down. So very rough in the tidewater and all up and down the east coast this morning. Now let's move it inland where it's not raining but snowing this morning. Temperatures Not in the mid-40s, but down around 30. Bill Keneally has the update from Beckley. Bill?
Okay, Mike, thanks a lot. Thankfully, no fear of a high tide around here. We're safe and secure at 2,500 feet, but that has some other problems of its own. As you can see, we have a rather bouncy nature to our precipitation right now. I'd give it sleet with some snow pellets mixed in, so there's a little bit of melting going on at some layer above me, but here at 2,500 feet, we've had a mishmash overnight. We arrived on the scene about 9 o'clock last night. It was snowing and snowing heavily at the time. It went over to some freezing rain overnight, and now it's going back into the frozen variety at this hour. Checking out the roadways here, we're pretty slushy, but we're getting some crust now on the very top. As you can see, the roadway behind me a little more bare, but it is starting to whiten over a little bit, so the problem will be the snow. The ridge tops are pretty much snow-packed. The valley is a little more blackened hardtop, but again, the schools are shut in the area. The interstate off to my left, I-77 and I-64, is doing okay at this hour. Had a big accident overnight last night. The roadways are in decent shape, but again, this is going to be an ongoing event, probably going on at least another 24 hours. And my suspicion is we're going to see a whole bunch more of this stuff before it's all said and done. Back to you, Cheryl, in Atlanta.
Thanks, Bill. We appreciate the update, and we appreciate you weathering the storm. Now, as Bill was mentioning, we've had reports of locally heavy snow over parts of the Appalachians, and in fact, over eastern Tennessee and the Cumberland Plateau and over parts of the Great Smoky Mountains, there's been some reports of around a foot of snowfall. Specifically in Overton County in eastern Tennessee, reports of snow drifts 2 feet deep. So traveling is definitely not being recommended this morning. We've also had reports of some road closures. Parts of Highway 441, Interstate 40, and also Interstate 75 in eastern Tennessee have been shut down due to the heavy snow. Heavy rains, too, have been plaguing the southeast because of this storm system. Miami, though, things are looking better for you as the storm system has pulled away. But there's been some soakers across the southeast, and the rain continues to come down nonstop. Reports of moderate and heavy rain around the Atlanta metro area, prompting flooding. Flood warnings right now for Clayton, Fulton, DeKalb, and Cobb counties in northern Georgia. Meanwhile, we watch the snow piling up. Heavy snow continues throughout parts of the Appalachians, and you can see that brighter shade of green there in northern sections of Kentucky. That indicates the snow is coming down at the rate of nearly 2 inches an hour. Before it's all said and done, maybe another foot or more of snowfall for parts of the Appalachians, and numerous winter storm warnings have been posted. Also, we have some strong easterly winds coming in from off the Atlantic. Gale and storm warnings are out, and we also have coastal flood warnings and advisories too along the eastern seaboard, and heavy surf too, making for dangerous conditions for the mariners. Our storm system will slowly plod towards the northeast, and unfortunately, another prolonged period of rain and snow battering the east, continuing for today and for tomorrow. And eventually that mess will slide closer towards New York City and Boston by overnight tonight. And of course, if you're away from your TV set, you can always check in with the website at weather.com. But now let's check out the weather across the rest of the country. And with all the information, here's Bruce in the studios. Bruce?
Thank you, Cheryl. Well, until that storm makes it farther north, current conditions in the northeast are just going to be cloudy and windy. Now, as we take a look at the winds over the last hour and the wind gusts, those are the numbers you see. And I know they're sort of small, but if you just look at the colors, you see the orange, that's indicative of where you're going to find 15 to 25 mile an hour winds. And as you can see, it's just sort of wrapping right around that low. And some of those winds, well, we're talking winds at about 32 miles an hour in Tallahassee and around Valdosta, Georgia, for example, 36 around D.C., 37 in Norfolk, Virginia. So again, 30-mile-an-hour wind gusts are quite common around here. Some higher gusts, especially around the coast. Now, current temperatures in and of themselves do not look bad. 36 in Boston, 40 in New York. A little chillier in Detroit at 25. 2 in Caribou is the cold one, but wind chill value in Boston is 21. 20 in New York, feels like 19 in Philly, like 11 in D.C., like 2 in Detroit. So bundle up when you head out. That wind does take the edge off. And again, you can see that moisture slowly advancing up into Pennsylvania, and eventually we'll work into southern New England. Now, you got a big blue H, a big high pressure system over the upper Midwest, and the fog is presenting some problems here and some chilly air. 2 degrees in International Falls, 13 Minneapolis, 32 Chicago, 31 St. Louis, and 30 in the best location in the nation, Cleveland, Ohio. As we head farther south, now Dallas is at 36, a little cool, Houston 42. 58 in Tampa, 50 or 66 in Miami. As moisture rotates around the low, there are some showers in Florida, but those are fairly light down towards the Keys and up towards Jacksonville by and large. So here's your picture. We do have that storm system again in the mid-Atlantic states, and that will continue to slowly work its way north through the course of the day. Well, rain and snow are going to make traveling very difficult this morning in the eastern half of the country. We'll have the latest commuting conditions ahead on TravelWise. But first, your local forecast.
Good afternoon, Heaven.
Yeah, I'm a magician, and I just sawed a woman in half.
And?
No, really, in half.
I'll transfer you. Heaven. Oh, I'll put you right through. Good afternoon, Heaven.
Yeah, I'm being investigated for tax fraud.
Oh, I'll put you right through, Senator. Good afternoon, Heaven.
I need 5,000 brochures printed by Monday.
I'm sorry. We can't help you there.
Need a printing miracle? Call Alpha Graphics. Design, copy, print. Miracles.
Call or visit your nearest Alpha Graphics print shop.
Look, show me a toothpaste that gives me fluoride and tartar protection, and then maybe I'll listen about getting whiter teeth.
Aquafresh Whitening gives you all the fluoride of Crest and reduces tartar buildup.
If Aquafresh does all that, then how well does it whiten?
Aquafresh's patented TriClean formula gently breaks up stains to help get teeth their whitest. Not regular Colgate, not even Rembrandt can whiten better than Aquafresh Whitening.
You can't get better than that.
Aquafresh Whitening for healthy, whiter teeth.
When you're on the go, get reliable forecasts from the Weather Channel through these sources. And now your local forecast.